Hey everyone, so today I have an announcement. After Warcraft Tales dying, unfortunately, one of the things that I said is that I would be redoubling my efforts towards YouTube. Well, this is pretty much the first part of that. With the help of everyone over at Patreon, I've been able to bring on a video editor full-time, which has allowed me to work on video series that are more in-depth, focused on research, and generally stuff that just takes longer to make but is more interesting than the news and current affairs that have been the norm and been done on my channel for years. So, I'm doing a series of Legion class reviews. The idea is to take a class, get it to max level, get decent gear, become proficient at each spec, and then to give you my thoughts on the entire thing, including the gameplay for each spec, how fun they are, how good the Order Hall campaign is, all of that stuff. Just everything that's related to how fun a class is that's, enjoyable to talk about. The goal is that these are to be better produced, better written, better edited than what you would normally see on the channel because of all that extra time. Having the editing stress of the current affairs content being reduced really means I can spend a lot more time on projects like this, and I think these are projects that have more lasting value to them. There's certainly stuff that I think I would be more interested in watching personally, so hopefully that, is actually reflected. Now, episode 1 is on the Hunter, and assuming nothing terrible happens, it will release tomorrow. I'm looking to do an episode every 2 to 3 weeks, though, of course, it's a lot of spec work to do every single spec in one video, so, that timeline might vary a little bit. Now, these aren't just, they aren't class guides, right? I had thought about doing those, but really, Icy Veins just has you covered. If you want class guide videos, I know the Preach is doing them for 7.2.5, and then Taliesin and Evatil are also planning another series of their roundup videos for that same patch. For my part, though, the focus is on gameplay, fun, and content. I actually pitched this series idea way back in February to people on Twitter, but with 7.2 it makes a hell of a lot more sense to do it now. We've got flight and all the general catch-up mechanics which make just things be more, quick to do. The last time that I played every spec in the game was, of course, during Legion Alpha and Beta, and I really loved doing that then. Since then, though, things have changed. More importantly, like the effect on gear and all of that has just been massive. And really how that affects gameplay. Comparing, this is a fun one, how Survival Hunter plays at item level 820 to 895 is kind of hilarious. It transforms from being one of the most annoying specs to play in the game to actually being very playable due to how all the extra mastery affects the rotation. This really is the case for many of the specs in the game, so it's going to be fun to see how everyone fares. In addition to episodes in each class, I'll probably do some roundups once I've covered like every spec within a role, like ranged DPS, melee DPS, healers, tanks, that kind of thing. Now, this is just one of the new types of content that I have for the channel. I'm also working on a series of more historical content. Currently, I've almost finished the video on content that was either planned but scrapped or was cut from vanilla World of Warcraft. That's actually been a really fun one to make. There's a lot of interesting lore to cover, but also a very interesting look into the development process of the game. For example, you might not know that originally in 2001, Blizzard planned vanilla to be 1 through 70 and for Northrend to be one of the continents that actually shipped with the base game. So that's kind of cool, actually, and hopefully something that you didn't know. It's certainly something I didn't really know before I set off to make this video. Previously, I wouldn't have been able to put the time into content like this because I'd be in a mad rush of the news cycle, the 7.2 videos, as I'm sure you sort of noticed, just trying to get a video out on the latest thing that happened. Well, with an editor to help with that content, it means that there should be enough time to do all of the current affairs that you know from the channel, but also to work in more long-form, creative, interesting, sort of researched, standalone content to really make the channel more sort of complete, really. I've got a few other projects in the works. One of them is using an iPad along with a viewport add-on to basically do a Nintendo DS-like setup for the UI. And then I have another idea that probably won't happen, but I really want to experiment with eye tracking. But anyway, that's where we're at. So a massive thank you to everyone who's watched, and especially to the patrons. Their support obviously has very directly helped me bring on a video editor, which has been really helpful. And for this series, episode 1, which covers the Hunter, releases tomorrow. So I hope you enjoy that. Any and all feedback is absolutely appreciated, so leave that down in the comments. But with all that said, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you tomorrow.